Early morning, after a rainy night, the air is cool and crisp, full of scents of the earth. It's so nice to enjoy the quiet for a while, sitting in the stairs, drinking a cup of warm coffee, getting ready for the day. I feel how we spend our mornings sets the tone for the rest of the day. There was a time my life looked a lot different than now. My days were spent working, hardly eating, chasing success. I lived ignoring my own well-being and those little signs your body sends when you should pay attention. As a result, I burnt out right after my second daughter was born and learned the hard way that ignoring your own health at the cost of so-called success comes with a price. Even though the next 2 years were the hardest of my life, I'm now truly grateful for them. Without those struggles and lessons in life, I wouldn't be here now. Life is genius that way. It gives us the lessons we need to learn, whether we want to or not. And it might just be that success and fame doesn't equal happiness, but that happiness may lie hidden in our everyday, simple life. Over the years, I've simplified my life a lot, learned to say no, value my own time more, keep friends who are truly friends, work when I work, and leave the work outside of my home and family life, take time with my husband, and go for dates. I think living a life that's true to you can look very different from person to person, but when we learn where we ourselves can thrive, it becomes a lot easier to let go of all those things we don't actually want or need. For me, healing my nervous system took a long time. It was through trial and error, but slowly I regained a sense of peace and joy back into my life. I was able to start creating again and enjoy the busy years of parenthood without so much self-doubt. There were some relapses, as always is with healing, but I became better at noticing when I was starting to overwork or overdo and could choose a different approach. Meditating, training martial arts, long nature walks, creating, and learning how to eat well were the most important steps for me to heal, and going a bit deeper to why I felt the need to overdo and strive for perfection in everything, and learn to ask for help. It's not so easy for some of us who tend to think that asking for help is a sign of weakness. I think we all have these tendencies in us, and we can make them work for us or against us. I like the Zen saying that our own mind is our greatest power. Whether we are slaves of our own thoughts or the master of them is what makes the difference. Choosing good over evil, good choices for our own well-being over bad ones. For me, that life is being able to create, to paint, write, and photograph, to share my time with family and friends, do work that I believe can bring value to others. Just be, breathe, live, tend to the garden, walk in the forest, swim in the lake. Happy Midsummers. It's been raining here for the whole day and there was a thunderstorm, so the air is kind of thick and warm and kind of suffocating. I hope the storm will come again and, clear the air. But somehow I really love these summer storms. They have this, this kind of atmosphere to them. I didn't really mean for this video to turn out so heavy, but in a way this is something I've been thinking of, sharing with you for some time. And I think that it's not always good to give this impression of, slow life being, just peaceful and joyful and nothing bad ever happens. That's not true. And usually when people go through difficult things, they find these more peaceful times in their life. And for me, without being burnt out, I don't think I would be here today. And it really, woke me up to those bad habits and, destructive things I was doing, mostly to myself. And, being able to wake up from those and grow and, become stronger in a way. And I think that those of us who strive for perfection, it's usually because of insecurities. It's not because you're strong and you want to be perfect. It's because you feel you're not and you'll never be, and you do everything in your power to be, and it's really exhausting. And I know people like me who have burnt out because of that, because of overworking and overdoing and, always trying to be better and eating less and doing more, and, this kind of, cycle of self-destruction in a way. And it can lead to many disorders. And for me, it was this time of, becoming to terms with who I am and what I am and what's true strength. It's not being perfect. It's actually admitting that you're weak. Not, of course, that you, just don't do anything, but you admit that you have some weaknesses and then you get better. And yeah. So, long story short, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this. And I know, especially nowadays, people really feel easily lost, and that's why this life that's a more slow life and not so success oriented has been really good for me. And I know it's not so for all of us. But if you want to, search for a more peaceful and, I don't know, maybe inwardly more rewarding life, then I think sometimes it's good to change your environment. And you don't have to do so, but sometimes it might be for the better. And for us, we have always been looking for places that are more green, and with more space. And I feel that this half a year that we've lived here now has been really, it's been hard in a way to adjust, but there are so many wonderful benefits of living closer to nature and, being, more connected to where you live. And that's maybe for some who like solitude and, want to feel connected to their environment, then it might be a good choice. And thriving and still living a slow, kind of humble life, it doesn't look so, brilliant to the outside. And that might be, hard for some because it doesn't look so glamorous or, but I've tried that. And this life of, looking good on the outside but feeling really empty on the inside, and yeah, I don't need that anymore. Of course, I'm a lot older now, and maybe with age comes this wisdom also, but also that you can be yourself more. You don't have to prove yourself so much all the time to everyone else and feel like you're losing or being left out or, yeah. life is interesting and it's wonderful to be alive. And that's the one thing that I wish for my videos to give is inspiration, whatever form it comes. And so I hope, even with the heavy topic, there was some light in this video as well. And I'm wishing you a wonderful Midsummer's celebration if you celebrate it. And here in Finland it's a big celebration and everyone goes to their cabins or to friends and family and barbecue and build these big bonfires. And yeah, it's just a wonderful celebration of life and summer. So happy Midsummers, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.